this episode, we'll finish modifying a Sportster's tank so that it can be mounted on a Softail. Hey folks, I'm Custom Chess for Roma Custom Bike and I'm so happy to be back with the second part of this episode. We are revolutionizing a Sportster tank so that it can be installed on a Softail Harley Davidson. Looks good, doesn't it? Problem is that if we just install it as it comes, it would be sitting like this, not really flowing properly, don't you think? This is caused by the tunnel being designed for a different motorcycle and too shallow to properly sit on this bike. So, we're going to cut the entire tunnel area so that we can make it the way we like it. This is the difference between the before and the after. As always, in the description you will find the link to the first part. But to recap it briefly, we had just finished bending the metal sheet that we'll be using as the new tunnel for the gas tank. Now, you might be wondering, how come they use such a large sheet? Great question, sir, and thank you for bringing this up. We decided to leave it the size it is because we figured it would help with leverage. Had it been a smaller piece, we would have had to use much more force and especially a lot more butt. Once we marked the excess metal, Polski Rage began to do his magic. He's a true artist with a grinder in his hands, and this time is no exception. Using all means at our disposal and making sure that the shape was accurate, our Franken tank is ready to be welded back together. This time we have opted for a new TIG welder. We have talked about it in a previous episode and I have to say, once you get a bit of practice with it, it's a damn good welding machine. Although it's not necessary for this job, we could have achieved similar results with our MIG welder as well. Once the welding is done, we have to make sure that the weld is watertight. And to verify it, we used an old trick. We closed all the main holes and we plugged the compressor hose into the fuel petcock. With the tank under pressure, we sprayed the welds with soapy water. Wherever you can spot bubbles, you know you have a pinhole or a crack that requires additional welding. After a few cycles of welding and testing, we couldn't find any more bubbles, consequently, no leaks. Once satisfied with the results, I immediately gave it a nice powder coating of transparent paint so that we would see all the work we put into it. This made the fabrication job even harder, because there is no bondo to hide the imperfections here. I'll never get tired to see the transformation of the paint from powder form to liquid state. It's absolutely fascinating. Since we were at it, we coated also the two fenders using the same transparent paint. we can finally see some light at the end of the tunnel. We can proceed with the internal lining of the tank. Although we have done pressure tests on this tank, I have done such massive work that I'd rather to have peace of mind and go for redundancy. Besides, this way we'll be protected against rust too. Now, before getting to the lining, I would like to thank you for all the support you demonstrate every day by hitting the like button, by sharing our videos on your social networks, and by subscribing to our channel. I would like to also invite you to visit our site www.romacustombike.com, where you can find our unique accessories and our t-shirts, because nothing is better than posting in the real world. So, let's proceed with lining the inside of the tank with this fuel and solvent resistant product. I will close any pinholes and cracks we might have missed in the previous step. Since the tank has already been painted, we have wrapped it religiously. It couldn't have gone into the oven after this step, so that's why we painted it first. Then we follow the instruction on the box of the products. You'll follow similar steps with the specific product you buy. After mixing the catalyzing agent to the resin, as directed on the instructions, I decided to add a bit of thinner to make the mixture less dense and to make it easier to reach every corner of the tank. Now, using the large hole for the fuel pump, I pour the mix into the tank. The following part is the hard one. We have to make sure that the product reaches every square millimeters of surface inside the tank. And all metal needs to be encapsulated to be protected and to have the guarantee of a leak-proof tank. Everything is made more complicated by the fact that you can't really see inside the tank. So we try to do multiple passes in every direction to just make sure no spot is left uncovered. This tank is starting to be pretty heavy, so Polski and I take turns at the shaking position. Once we're sure, or shall I say hopeful, that the entire inside walls are covered with red goo, we stopped shaking and we left it dry for a couple of days. Morning, bastards! This should be it. We're ever so close to complete this project. The lining should be dry and the tank is ready to be installed. Polski Rage, visibly excited after the waiting around, is installing the fuel pump from a 1.2-liter Sportster inside our fresh new tank. With our buddy Jacek's help, we plug the electrical connection and we hook up the fuel line. After giving one last spins to all the holding screws, it's time to fill up the tank for the very first time. After a long wait and a lot of work, the bike is done. We decided to go for a little bit of black in the paint job because monochromatic wasn't the way he liked it, and after all, it is his bike. Well, after this run, we got proof that everything is working, from the welds to the 1.2 liter Sportster fuel tank. At least for now, I'm sure that sooner or later we'll get some problems like in every custom project and modification. And when that will happen, we'll be ready to modify, correct and perfection our design. Now, our time is running out. I'm very happy that we have started this season with a pure motorcycle fabrication episode. And what do you think? Let me know by visiting my Facebook page called Roma Custom Bike ENG or by commenting right here on YouTube. I'd like to remind you that along with subscribing to the channel, you can now click the little bell to receive a notification when I publish a new video, so you can see the new episodes as soon as they're out. I also would like to invite you to visit our site www.romacustomBike.com to find all the accessories that we're producing and our t-shirts. I'm Custom Chess for Roma Custom Bike, and I'll see you next time.